Welcome to Toronto's market update. Is now the right time to move up? Toronto's real estate market is shifting. Inventory is up, but our price is coming down. If you're thinking of moving from a condo or condo townhouse to a freehold home, here's what you need to know. Well, this is for condo owners, anyone that's in a condo townhouse. You look at upgrade to your forever home or at least your next home as you're running out of space. So a couple things that we're going to cover today is months of inventory, days on market, new listings, sales activity, and this will I'll help you dissect the information, interpret it, so that you understand what's going on. Because a lot of times, what I'm finding right now is like every realtor is posting data, and they're not really giving their perspective about the data, and it's very hard to understand. To be honest, like prices went up 3%. There's 500 billion listings on the market right now. What does that all mean? So I'm going to give you some insight about this and how it's going to affect you. And also, before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and like this video. This way you'll keep up to date about what's happening with Toronto and if it's the right time for you to move up or not, or even to sell. Some people are just looking to sell right now. So let's look at the market breakdown and a couple of things that we look at in terms of inventory and how we look at this data and how it affects you. So let's look at there's actually two markets that are really affecting the general homeowners, home buyers, and home sellers out there. Is the condo market and the freehold market. They're two totally separate markets. We're just looking in Toronto, and this will give you access to what is really going on though. So a couple things that we look at is that this graph over here is showing active listings, like how many listings are on the market right now. When you can see over here, currently right now, we're halfway through March, and you can see that we're sitting with about 5,500 active listings right now. Is that a lot? Not a lot? Well, let's see what happened in terms of sales in the last little while. How many sales actually happened in the last month or so. You can see in February-ish, end of February over there, that we have less than 1,000 sales. And we're sitting about 5,500 listings. So that means that only like a third, not a third, like a quarter, less than a quarter of the active listings are being sold right now. That's an interesting factor now. This is just with condos. And the other thing they want to take a look at it as well, though, how much new inventory is coming on the market. You see with this graph in February, there was a slew of properties came on the market. These are all condos and condo townhouses, over 3,000 units. So a couple of things to remember. We have less than 1,000 sales. We have over 3,000 new listings, and active listings we're sitting at 5,000. So it looks like there's a lot of choices for buyers. Usually when there's a lot of choices for buyers, this is what happens. The listings, the condos that are overpriced or even priced like what their neighbors sold for maybe a month ago are not selling because there's lots of new condos that come to the market that might be priced at a better value than the current ones. So during these times, it's very important to price properly. Here's the next thing that we look at, months of inventory. Months of inventory tells us how quickly things are being absorbed on the market, like how many months it will take to deplete the current supply of condos at the current buy rate. So if they're buying less than 1,000 units per month, then it's not there's a lot of inventory to it's going to take a lot of months to essentially deplete that supply. And as of right now, we're seeing over 5 months of inventory. That means it's a buyer's market. If the number was like 1 month of inventory, 2 months of inventory, that means it's a seller's market. We're in a buyer's market right now, so buyers have control. And you see over here as well, though, average days on market. This is not average. This is median days on market. It's a middle number. The median days on market, we're sitting about like 27, about 25 or so. That's a long time in Toronto terms in terms of days on market. But as you can see, it's dropped since the last little while. But we don't know it's going to bounce back up in terms of days or not. But we'll see. So as of right now, we see that's what's happening in the condo market. So next thing we look at, let's take a look at freehold and what's happening with freehold. With freehold, active listings, we're sitting about a little bit over 2,000. Not too bad. That's as you can see, active listings is a little bit on the lower side, but you can see similar to last year's data, we're on the upward slope where active listings should peak in the by June or so. You can see, and then active listings drop and then goes back up again in the fall market. So that's what that graph means. New listings, you can see also, they're saying about under 2,000 units for new listings. And when you look at sales, we're seeing about 700. And what does that all mean? When you take a look at all of that, this is the graph that's really important because it tells you about how quickly things are selling. We're looking at all that data. Yeah, those are important and all, but I usually focus on this one because this one tells me what's happening with the market. This is showing us that we're a little bit over 3 months of inventory. That's a seller's market. But as you can see, it hit 3.5 at one time, even towards 4. So that means it's more of a balanced market at certain points of the year. But as of right now, we're in like seller's market territory. Not crazy seller's market territory, but seller market territory. So let's summarize what I've just learned. Condo market takes some time to sell, over almost 30 days on the market. Freehold market is going quick. The average days on or median days in market, we're sitting at about 12 right now. So things are selling like within a little bit over a week. So that's pretty good speed. The months of inventory is telling us we're in seller's market in freehold, buyer's market in condos. So if you have to sell right now, I'll be very, very careful if you're buying first before selling. I would usually say no to that, but it depends on what you're selling. You might have a beautiful loft that's rare in a building that's highly desirable, but majority of sellers out there / buyers, they have a normal condo that does take time to sell, as you can see, over 30 days or close to 30 days, and also the months of inventory, it's pretty high right now. So you can move up in this market. I've helped many clients move up in this market, but we have to be very realistic about the pricing. That's the thing. If you're very realistic with the pricing and you have somewhere to go to, essentially, if you need to sell first, then it's very doable. Like a lot of our clients either move in with family, if that's possible, if that makes sense, or they rent out an Airbnb for a few months if they can't find a place, if they sell first. It's very normal. It's annoying though, but moving is annoying, period. So anyways, if you'd like to dive deeper into this and see how this applies you, please feel free to book a call with the link below. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.